In order to get a sense for how broad and deep the Chinese Communist Party's infiltration into American society has actually gotten, my team and I flew over to Tallahassee, Florida, in order to sit down and speak with Mr. Peter Schweizer. Now, Peter is a world-renowned author. He's a researcher as well as an investigative journalist. In fact, you've probably read some of his best-selling books, such as Clinton Cash, Secret Empires, Profiles in Corruption, as well as his latest book, Red-Handed, wherein he goes into great depth to expose the Chinese communist strategy known as elite capture. That strategy is the focus of our discussion. Why would Hunter Biden secure so many deals in China when his name is so famous? He's a famous man, a famous young man, right. Yale graduate.
Yeah.
His last name is that of the VPs. He can get deals across America, across 190 other countries. Why China?
It's a great question. I think part of it is that no legitimate businesses wanted to do a deal with Hunter Biden, or you could say the same thing with James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, because they don't bring anything to the table. I mean, if you're a financial investment firm in London or in Tokyo, and you're doing business with a politician's family member, which is legitimate, it happens all the time, it's okay as long as they're actually providing a viable service. They're either bringing capital to the table, or they're bringing an investor to the table, or they have some special knowledge in terms of identifying investment opportunities. The Bidens don't present any of those opportunities, and that's, I think, the beginning point. The second thing you have to factor in is simply the notion that when you're talking about these Chinese entities that have thrown money at the Biden family, I think we also have to operate under a pretty simple assumption that they're not philanthropies. They're not simply giving the Bidens money in exchange for nothing. They want something. So the question is, what are they getting in return? And when you look at the cluster of who provided the funds to the Bidens and the fact that the Bidens did not really provide anything tangible in return, this has all the markings of elite capture and of a Chinese intelligence operation. We looked through the Hunter Biden laptop. We built on the existing research we had done back in 2018 in my book, Secret Empires, because we wanted to identify who made these deals happen in China, how much money are we talking about, and what was Joe Biden's role? And the answers were very clear that the Bidens got some $31 million based on the laptop from a series of deals that happened beginning when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. And those deals happened courtesy of 4 Chinese businessmen. And if you look at all 4 of those Chinese businessmen, they have links to the highest levels of Chinese intelligence. I don't mean some sort of, distant connection. I mean, they were directly linked to the highest levels. So if you look at one of the businessmen that helped Hunter Biden in the BHR, the Bohai Harvest private equity deal, which netted him some $20 million, that gentleman, at the same time that he was helping Hunter Biden secure that deal, was also business partners with the Vice Minister for State Security, who runs the entire spy apparatus of China. And this vice minister's job, by the way, included foreign intelligence recruitment. If you look at the other 3 businessmen, they have similar types of ties to Chinese intelligence. So it's very clear what the role here was. And, as somebody who lived through the Cold War, I think you're a little bit younger, you probably don't have memories there. The notion that during the Cold War, Jimmy Carter's family or Ronald Reagan's family would have gotten some $31 million from Russian businessmen linked to the KGB, it'd be setting off alarm bells. That's what happened here. All we're doing is replacing the KGB with the Chinese Ministry of State Security. It's the exact same story, and it ought to be setting off the exact same alarm bell.
For the viewers, can you break down one of the deals that Hunter Biden struck, maybe one of the deals with BHR, like the nuclear deal or the aviation deal?
Yeah, I mean, that's another component of this. I mean, a lot of times people think of the deals and they think that, well, this is a case of, Hunter Biden and the family making money. But these were actually entities that were arranging deals that benefited the Chinese state in a military and national security manner. So Bohai Harvest RST, or BHR, it's a private equity firm fully funded by the Chinese government, run by the Bank of China. They put Hunter Biden on the board of directors and gave him an ownership stake of the management company. bizarre because he literally brings nothing to the deal. But when you look at what this entity, BHR, this Chinese government-funded investment firm, starts doing, and Hunter Biden's on the board, they buy an anchor investment stake in a firm called CGN, China General Nuclear. This is an atomic power company in China that within about a year that Hunter Biden's BHR makes a major investment in this firm, our FBI arrests senior executives for nuclear espionage. They're actually stealing nuclear secrets in the United States. The company itself and also senior executives, one of which, Alan Ho, ends up going to jail. And they're interested in small nuclear reactors that have military application. They're so-called dual-use technologies. There's another example where Hunter Biden's investment firm, again financed by the Chinese government, where he's on the board, buys 50% of a company in Michigan called Henniges. It's a sort of precision tool company that develops dual-use technologies. These are anti-vibration technologies that are good for, civilian use, but also for military use. What's suspicious about this deal is the other 50% of the company, they buy them in tandem, is the aviation company of China, which has a long history of engaging in espionage in the United States. In fact, many of the technologies they stole from us based on our stealth fighter went into producing their stealth fighter. There are other examples. There's a mining company in Africa that's mining for critical minerals. There's a competition for strategic minerals between Beijing and Washington. Hunter Biden's Chinese firm, again where he's on the board, buys up mines in Africa that benefit the Chinese state in its competition with the United States. So the bottom line is there are very serious implications for these deals. Hunter Biden's on the board. He has some kind of knowledge of these deals taking place, participation, he's profiting from it, and all of these deals are benefiting the Chinese state in its competition with the United States. It's extraordinary. I've never seen anything like this involving a political family this prominent.
All right, the sponsor of today's episode is a phenomenal company called AMAC. That's AMAC, and it stands for the Association of Mature American Citizens. They are quite literally one of the fastest growing conservative organizations in all of America, and you should consider joining for three main reasons. The first is the money saving benefit, because as a member of AMAC, you get access to a ton of discounts at many different verticals. Things like vitamin stores, restaurants, retail shops, and so on and so forth. If you want to check out the full list, it's pretty exhaustive, you can do so over on AMAC's website. The second benefit is that you get exclusive access to the AMAC magazine. It'll be delivered directly to your doorstep, and it contains phenomenal coverage as well as deep analysis. And then the third benefit, the one that people say is their favorite, is that AMAC fights for your values over on Capitol Hill. In fact, you can check out the online version of this on their website. It's the AMAC Action Advocacy Annual Report, and it shows exactly what they're doing on Capitol Hill in terms of fighting what they call the socialist storm that's brewing in this country. So head on over to amac.us/facts matter and sign up today. I'll also throw a link down in the description box below. So earlier you said that Hunter Biden did not really provide any kind of discernible value to these entities and to these people.
Yes, business value.
Business
correct.
value. So what value, according to your research, what value did he provide? Like what concrete value?
It's unclear. It's clear he got some value. They received something out of it. You're in the realm of speculation, because if you look through the emails, you look through the emails of his business partners, which we've looked at, you look at what the activities of these businesses are. Hunter Biden secured no deals for them. He brought in no outside capital. There's nothing. So you come to, he provided some political interference role because these Chinese entities were doing deals in the United States, and some of those deals required approval by the Biden-Obama administration for approval, so he could provide a political interference. There could have been some intelligence role. I mean, if they gained leverage over him, it's well known some of the personal problems that Hunter Biden has had. They could have leveraged him and used him for an intelligence source, blackmailed him. Those are the areas where I think the investigation needs to proceed. We now are aware of the extent of the financial relationships, what they entailed. Now the next question is, what were they getting for their money? Because I think everybody can agree, as I said earlier, they didn't expect nothing in return. They expected something in return, and the fact that the money continued to flow is an indication that they got something in return.
So let me ask you this. So your research implicates Hunter.
Yeah.
But do you have any evidence or any research that would show that Joe Biden also benefit financially from any of these deals?
Yes, we do. I mean, what's interesting, and the emails make this clear, is that within the Biden family, money is fungible. It moves around. And there's a lot of evidence for this. Some of this is Hunter Biden himself. There's messages in the laptop where he's communicating with his daughter. His daughter's in her 20s. She's asking Hunter for money. Any parent who has a child in their 20s probably has had this kind of conversation. And Hunter basically replies, look, I don't have a lot of money right now. You're going to have to kind of stand on your own. But, going forward, as you get older, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to do what Pop, meaning Joe Biden, has asked me to do, which is turn over half my money. So this is Hunter Biden saying that he goes out and makes money, but some of that money is going to his dad or is going to other family members, and that's his role in the family. Now you could look at this and say, well, maybe this is hyperbole. Hunter's having a bad day. He's frustrated. As you dig further into the laptop, you see that Hunter Biden is collecting this money from overseas, from China, from Ukraine, and elsewhere, but that he's also paying his father's monthly bills. That's interesting because it not only shows that Joe Biden's a beneficiary of these foreign deals, it's actually illegal. Politicians are not allowed to have family members subsidize their lifestyles by paying their bills. But in addition to monthly bills, Hunter Biden's also making payments on renovations on Joe Biden's home in Delaware when he's having work done on the house. So it's very clear that Joe Biden is a direct beneficiary of these deals. When he leaves the vice presidency in January of 2017, other foreign deals are in the works, including with CEFC, the Chinese energy company. And that's where the email, the Hunter's going to hold 10% for the big guy, comes into play. So after he left the vice presidency, he was going to start to be juiced in to some of these overseas deals. And the truly, I think, scary part on top of that is the plans were for Joe Biden to actually share office space in Washington, D.C. with some of these Chinese companies and with his son. The only reason that didn't take place is the FBI arrested executives from CEFC. And then I think the handwriting was so on the wall that they had to step away from it. So this was the Biden family working very closely with these entities. Hunter would collect the money. Some of the money would go to James Biden, but Joe Biden himself was absolutely a financial beneficiary of these deals.
Is this common just outside of the Biden family as well? Now, what you just watched was only about 10% of the entire interview. If you want to watch the full interview, which includes a deep dive into how this elite capture strategy by the Chinese Communist Party has been playing itself out on Wall Street, within education, within the entertainment industry, as well as in big tech, you can do so over on Epic TV. The link will be right there at the very top of the description box, and you can click on it and head on over to watch the full entire interview.